Buying a $100,000 camper van might sound like a dream come true. The open road, endless adventure, and complete freedom. But before you drop six figures on what seems like the perfect setup, there are some things nobody's talking about. We're exposing the huge lies about buying a luxury camper van that you need to know. From hidden maintenance costs to the real challenges of van life, we are breaking down the myths so you can make the right decision. Stay tuned. These are the facts behind those shiny sales pitches. The idea of living in 60 square feet might sound romantic, especially with all those Instagram photos of perfectly organized van kitchens and cozy sleeping spaces. But the reality of full-time van life is much more challenging than it appears. That dreamy kitchen. In real life, it often feels like playing a game of Tetris just to move things around and cook a simple meal. There's limited counter space, and every time you prepare food, you'll be juggling your cookware, dishes, and ingredients in a cramped area. Let's talk about your bed too. That comfortable, cozy sleeping spot frequently becomes your office, dining room, and storage space, all rolled into one. Working, eating, and lounging in the same spot quickly gets old, and you'll be constantly rearranging items to make room for different activities. And changing clothes? Get ready to perfect the art of crouching and contorting yourself in tight quarters where there's barely room to stand up. Those beautiful white sheets you see in the van photos, they won't stay clean for long. After just a couple of days on the road, they'll be covered in dirt and dust, especially if you're parking in nature or on the roadside. Finally, personal space becomes a luxury you no longer have. If you're traveling with a partner, you'll quickly discover there's no avoiding each other. You'll learn more about each other's habits, quirks, and hygiene routines than you ever imagined, and not always in a good way. Full-time van life is far from easy. That hefty $100,000 price tag often comes with promises of complete self-sufficiency. Solar panels, lithium batteries, water tanks, and more, all designed to give you ultimate freedom on the road. It sounds like a dream come true, but the reality is a bit more complicated. For instance, a typical 20-gallon fresh water tank might last you 3-4 days, even with careful conservation. After that, you'll need to refill, which means searching for water stations or campgrounds. Those fancy solar panels? They work great during sunny summer months. But in the winter, when daylight is limited, they become much less reliable for maintaining power. Even if you're outfitted with the best lithium battery systems, you'll constantly find yourself monitoring power usage. Running lights, charging devices, or cooking with electric appliances will drain your battery faster than you might expect. And forget about running the air conditioner off your batteries for long. It's a massive power drain. Unless you're plugged into shore power at a campground, you'll have to carefully balance your energy usage to avoid running out of juice. The dream of endless off-grid boondocking, where you can live independently without needing a campground, often turns into a game of planning your route between service stations. You'll need dump stations for waste, hookups for electricity, and water refills more often than you'd think. Despite all the high-end systems, true self-sufficiency in a van still requires constant planning and compromises, far from the carefree freedom that's often advertised. Let's talk numbers. That shiny $100,000 camper van may seem like a great investment in your future adventures, but the truth is, it starts losing value the moment you drive it off the lot. Depreciation hits hard, and within 5 years, you're likely looking at a 30-40% drop in value at a minimum. But that's just the beginning of the financial reality. Maintenance costs for these vans are astronomical. Something as basic as an oil change can cost 3 times what you'd pay for a regular car, thanks to specialized parts and labor. And if you run into engine issues or mechanical failures, be prepared to shell out thousands of dollars. Repairs for these custom vehicles are often far more expensive than for standard cars, and finding a mechanic who specializes in camper vans can be a challenge in itself. And don't forget about all the custom components inside your van. Those luxurious upgrades aren't typically covered by standard warranties, meaning more out-of-pocket expenses. Insurance is another hidden financial burden. Many insurance companies struggle to properly value camper vans, especially with all the custom modifications, leading to higher premiums. And if you ever need to file a claim, the process can be a headache, with many owners finding that their vans are undervalued by insurers. In the end, while a camper van may feel like a big-ticket investment, it's actually a rapidly depreciating liability with ongoing costs that add up faster than expected. It's not the financial win many buyers hope for. While camper vans are smaller than full-size RVs, they're still large, cumbersome vehicles that are anything but easy to drive and park. At over 20 feet long and often towering more than 9 feet high, these vans present unique challenges, especially in urban environments. Forget about pulling into standard parking garages. The height alone disqualifies you from most of them. If you're hoping to grab a quick coffee downtown or park in a busy area, good luck finding a spot that can accommodate your home on wheels. City driving in a camper van becomes a strategic mission. You'll need to plan your routes carefully to avoid low-clearance bridges, sharp turns, and narrow streets. And it's not just city driving that's tricky. Even in rural or campground settings, maneuvering can be challenging. Backing into campsites or parking spots requires precision, and even experienced drivers can find themselves stressed when faced with tight spaces. Drive-throughs are another headache. With the van's height and length, you may have to skip the convenience of grabbing food on the go. Spontaneous road trips often turn into carefully planned journeys as you map out routes that take vehicle restrictions and clearance heights into account. So, while camper vans might seem more agile than a full-size RV, don't be fooled into thinking they're easy to drive or park. They require just as much thought and care on the road, if not more, especially in areas not designed for large vehicles. The glossy marketing photos always show perfect weather, blue skies, gentle breezes, but the reality of living in a $100,000 camper van hits hard when temperatures plummet below freezing or soar above 90 F. While premium insulation may help to some extent, it's far from being a miracle material. Camper vans aren't fully equipped to handle extreme temperatures year-round, despite what the brochures might suggest. In the winter, you'll face a host of problems. Frozen pipes are a common issue, and managing condensation can become a nightmare, leading to mold or damage over time. The van's heating system, whether electric or propane, will work overtime, draining your batteries or fuel supply far faster than you'd like. This forces you to constantly monitor power usage or find hookups to keep things running. Summer presents its own set of challenges. Camper vans can quickly turn into greenhouses on wheels, trapping heat and making the interior unbearably hot. The built-in air conditioning system will struggle to keep up, especially if you're relying on solar panels for power. Running AC off batteries for long periods is rarely feasible, leaving you uncomfortable unless you can plug into shore power at a campground. To truly make your van livable in extreme weather, you'll need to invest in extra gear: portable heaters, dehumidifiers, thermal window covers, and additional insulation. But all of that gear eats into your already limited space, making it harder to maintain the streamlined, minimalist van life you may have envisioned. So much for being fully equipped for all seasons. Owning a $100,000 camper van may seem like a low-maintenance way to enjoy life on the road, but the truth is far from it. Regular maintenance isn't just a suggestion. It's crucial for keeping your van livable and functional. Every system in your van requires attention. Water filters need replacing, batteries need monitoring, and solar panels need cleaning to operate efficiently. If any of these tasks are neglected, problems can escalate quickly. Think of your van as a combination of a tiny house and a complex vehicle, each with its own set of maintenance needs. On the home side, a small leak in your plumbing system can quickly turn into a major issue, leading to mold and water damage. Forget to replace a water filter. You could end up with contaminated water or that awful sewage smell lingering in your living space. Keeping these systems running smoothly means dedicating several hours each week to routine checks, cleaning, and repairs. On the vehicle side, the engine and mechanical systems require just as much attention. Camper vans are typically heavier and more complex than standard vehicles, and they often need more frequent oil changes, tire rotations, and engine tune-ups. The demands of regular driving, especially if you're frequently off-grid or on rough terrain, can wear out parts more quickly. In reality, the time and effort you'll spend on maintenance adds up quickly. If you're not prepared for the ongoing work, owning a camper van can feel less like freedom and more like a full-time job. Those stunning photos of luxury camper vans perched on rugged mountain trails or parked in remote deserts, they're often taken just a few feet off the pavement. The reality is that most high-end camper vans, despite their rugged looks, are not built for serious off-roading. At 20+ feet long and loaded with luxury amenities, these vans are too heavy and have too high of a center of gravity to safely navigate steep inclines or rocky trails. Even if your van is equipped with all-wheel drive, you're still essentially driving a house. All the added weight from custom cabinetry, kitchen appliances, and water tanks makes off-road travel risky. You're more likely to get stuck in mud or sand, and the sheer size of the van makes it difficult to maneuver on narrow trails or sharp turns. What's worse, if you do get stuck in a remote location, the cost of a tow or recovery can easily run into the thousands, especially if you're far from the nearest service station. For real off-road capability, your van would need significant modifications, including upgraded suspension, reinforced undercarriage protection, and better tires, changes that most manufacturers won't cover under warranty. So, while your luxury van may handle well on dirt roads or well-maintained campgrounds, serious off-roading requires more than just a flashy AWD badge. The truth is, if you're dreaming of rugged backcountry adventures, a camper van might not be your best option. You'll need a vehicle specifically built for off-roading. And even then, careful planning and experience are essential to avoid costly mishaps. That $100,000 price tag might get you high-end finishes and Instagram-worthy aesthetics, but it doesn't always translate to comfort. Sure, those beautiful quartz or wooden countertops look impressive, but they don't make up for a cramped shower where it's nearly impossible to turn around without bumping into the walls. And those premium cushions in your seating area? They might look plush, but they're often covering a rock-hard bed platform that leaves you tossing and turning all night. The reality is, many luxury camper vans focus more on style than practicality. While the interior might dazzle in photos, it can fall short when it comes to everyday use. You'll often find yourself having to redesign storage solutions to make things more functional, adding extra padding to seats, or wishing for basic ergonomic features like proper lumbar support or a more accessible kitchen setup. And that gorgeous wooden countertop you admired in the brochure? While it looks fantastic, it also adds unnecessary weight to your van and requires constant maintenance to prevent water damage, scratches, and wear. You'll spend more time than you'd expect oiling and cleaning those fancy finishes just to keep them in good shape. In the end, the promise of luxury in a camper van doesn't always deliver real-world comfort. While the van may look like a dream home on wheels, living in it every day can reveal many practical issues that high-end finishes can't solve. True comfort often requires sacrificing a bit of style for functionality, something not always considered in these high-end designs. The idea of having a fully customizable camper van is a big selling point, but the reality is far more restrictive. While it might seem like you can modify everything to suit your personal needs, the integrated systems in modern vans make customization much more difficult than advertised. For example, if you want to move an electrical panel to create more space, you could easily void the warranty on the entire electrical system, leaving you responsible for any future repairs. Even something as simple as adding more storage can quickly become complicated. Extra cabinets or shelving may affect your van's weight distribution, leading to safety issues on the road. The same goes for other modifications. Want to change the layout of your kitchen or bathroom? That could require rerouting plumbing or electrical lines, which is often more trouble than it's worth. And since most luxury vans are designed with fixed layouts, altering these designs often requires specialized knowledge and custom parts, which can only be installed by professionals at a premium cost. Even seemingly minor changes like switching out a bed platform or adding new seating can cascade into major projects involving structural reinforcements or additional support. That dream layout you envisioned? It might be physically impossible due to limitations you never considered, such as the location of the van's supporting beams, plumbing, or wiring. In the end, while some customization is possible, it's far from the flexible, easy process that's often advertised. True customization in a camper van is usually a lot more complex, expensive, and time-consuming than people expect. The biggest lie about van life? That it's a never-ending journey of freedom and adventure. Social media loves to showcase those stunning sunset views from the back of a van, but what it doesn't show are the countless hours spent planning routes, monitoring weather conditions, or dealing with mechanical breakdowns. In reality, van life involves far more logistics and problem-solving than you might expect. Instead of just being a traveler, you're essentially managing a mobile home. Every day, you have to make decisions about how much water you can use, how to conserve power, and where you'll find safe overnight parking. Finding the perfect campsite often requires research, and many popular spots can be full or restricted. If you're boondocking off-grid, you'll also need to think about where to refill water tanks, dump waste, and recharge your batteries. Mechanical issues add another layer of stress to the lifestyle. From flat tires to engine trouble, you're always at the mercy of your vehicle, which, if something goes wrong, can bring your adventure to a grinding halt. While van life offers freedom in some ways, it demands more planning and forethought than traditional living, turning that carefree image into something far more complex and challenging. Even the so-called spontaneous lifestyle requires a lot of pre-planning. You'll often find yourself plotting out routes to avoid low-clearance bridges or areas that are not RV-friendly, as well as keeping tabs on weather to ensure you're not caught in dangerous conditions. It's crucial to understand these realities before investing your life savings in a luxury camper van. Van life can be incredible when you know what you're getting into. The key is setting realistic expectations and being prepared for the challenges ahead. To continue diving into more adventures with us, watch this video for more insights and tips. Until next time, safe travels. See you in the next video.